Hi, everyone. Welcome back. It is Two Girls, One Ticket with Lauren and Brogan. We're glad you're
Hello.
here. How was California, Brogan?
It was fantastic. Beautiful weather, beautiful beach runs, but happy to be back in Texas now that the weather has finally cooled down. Do you see I got my turtleneck on. We're ready for sweater
Sweater
weather.
weather.
Yep.
Yes.
There we go.
Time to
So
switch
happy to be
to
back.
hot coffee, red wine, although you're always a Pinot drinker anyway.
I will drink Pinot Noir in a hot summer day with some ice cubes.
There you go. Well, let's change it for a fireplace now.
There we go.
Well, excited to be back. I feel like we had a close back-to-back since we were a little late last week. And we have a lot to cover. We will be talking about LA Dodgers, World Series champions.
Incredible series.
Incredible series. Amazing finish. Great week in the NFL. Upsets and New York City Marathon, Breeders' Cup. Another big win for Japan there. College basketball has finally started. And some hot takes.
Oh, yeah. That's a great lineup right there.
Yes. Keep them coming. Okay, we'll start with our hot takes. Aiming of men's sports versus women's sports. And I heard one of the better interviews I have heard from Michelle Wie West, who had very valid points and perspective on women's sports. Obviously, she's a former professional golfer, now transitioning to investor, owner, voice for women's sports, has the credibility in a sport, golf, has a great business lens. She's been through it. She's competed. She's had numerous sponsorship deals. She knows the business. Now an investor in the LA Golf Club, which is one of 6 current franchises in Tiger Woods and Rory's TGL Indoor Golf League. So she's been through it all, lots of good insight. She's an investor in Together, which I had actually never heard of, and it's TOGETHXER. It was founded by Alex Morgan, Sue Bird, Chloe Kim, Simone Manuel, with the goal to amplify women's sports and culture. The company focuses on storytelling and documentaries of women's sports and female athletes that the mainstream outlets overlook. They have brand partnerships, merchandise to help position women's sports as a marketable industry, not such a niche industry. And they create digital content, do collaborations, social media campaigns that merge lifestyle sports and empowerment to women's sports. So let's break it down.
I love that she understands, both the competition and the business aspect, which is very important, I feel like, in this, in what we're about to get into.
Very important. And she was relevant in golf, very relevant. She was such a great competitor
athlete,
and always carried herself so well educated. And now to hear her on the other side was super interesting.
Very credible source.
Yes, very credible. We like that. Not so far removed. Sometimes you hear people talk that are so far removed that it's like, is this
hard to listen? Yeah,
exactly.
It's hard. You just want to hear yourself talk. So
yeah, kind of like we are doing. No, I'm just kidding.
I think we're great, but
we're great. Michelle Wie West interview with Front Office Sports. She said that she thinks a lot of times women's sports are seen as a charity. And that when the message is we need to show up for women's sports, we need to support women's sports, it feels like it's a charity and you're doing a favor rather than really promoting women's sports. She's pointed out with men's sports that you never hear we've got to support the NFL, suggesting the way that each is viewed is so differently, which automatically kind of offsets the perspective. And she argued that women's sports should be critiqued and talked about in the same light as men's sports. And there should be big opinions and big rivalries and a big emphasis on it, and not to make it more legitimate and not be so quaint or meek or less than or supplemental, because it does seem like people are more afraid to talk about women athletes in sports.
Yeah, it's like create a storyline, create something that is actually exciting and will create organic viewers, ultimately, at the end of the day.
She discussed the business momentum behind women's sports, the rising valuations, new franchises, increased attendance and interest, all things that we've covered, obviously all things that are very important, great to see. And her point is in the framing of women's sports, it needs to be different. Otherwise, they are seen as a charity. The teams are going to be undervalued. The sponsorships are going to be undervalued. It's going to be underinvested. And then reframing the value or business helps shift the capital and public interest, which will in turn accelerate growth, which I think is really a great point.
Yeah, so I tend to agree.
Yeah. So let's break it down. They're obviously viewed differently.
They are. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, sports are entertainment businesses. They grow when there's an organic audience. That's exciting to watch. You can't force the interest, but I don't think you should make it shouldn't be gender. It should be more about like a business and audience issue.
Right. And the way it's messaged, which is, what she's saying. I think that if the right people are involved, it's strategic in the placement and the way things are handled, it will just amplify it in general. And then in turn, it's obviously going to bring more entertainment to the spectators, to the fans, and make it a bigger audience.
I thought about this. We've both played women's sports. We're obviously very competitive, but for me, I don't watch women's sports. I didn't grow up as the pinnacle of sports women's. It's usually I'm watching like men's and men's games. They're just a little bit more explosive and more exciting. However, I think kind of making the narrative, changing the storyline and making it a little bit more exciting. I always falt back to the Caitlin Clark and the Angel Reese situation because I think this is what really sparked women's basketball. And I grew up in basketball. So they created a storyline. There was something to watch. This created organic interest in actually watching women's sports, which I think is exciting.
I agree. To your point, I didn't really watch women's basketball until Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. And then I ended up watching it all the way through the NCAA finals. I thought it was so fun. And then in addition to that, my cousin Emily actually played she's beautiful, giant, 6'4", played at UNC, and then she ended up transferring to University of Florida. She had a tournament at Baylor when Kim Mulkey was coaching. And so it's like, okay, let's go watch.
Fun.
So fun. So I'd never watched NCAA women's basketball before. I was like, it's fun. Baylor's a big basketball school. I was enamored with Kim Mulkey. I was fixated on her. She was so into it.
Her heels,
obviously, she looks like
ground.
a doll. Yeah, stomping around, throwing up her arms, screaming, yelling. I was more invested in her and her coaching style and how into it that she was than watching the game. But that's to go with what you're saying. I mean, that alone, if you can find something like that in somebody that's so passionate in a storyline, and she does have a storyline. She's an incredibly successful coach. She was very successful at Baylor. Now she's at LSU. I just feel like there needs to be the right people that are being shown and really out there. Then more and more people will just get involved, and rivalries, and that people are not afraid to speak up about it. You can say bad things, you can critique women athletes, and it's no problem. It's no different than having your favorite men's athlete or football player or whatever. You can talk a little trash.
Adding passion and emotion to the game creates the excitement, and that's what men's have right now. There's not a huge audience for women's sports, especially probably younger girls who aspire to be professional athletes. Those are people watching. Men typically are not watching women because there's not the excitement in the storyline. And that's how we need to change it, is recreating kind of the narrative behind it.
Also with sponsorships and things off the courts and, brands getting tied in and pouring money into, women athletes, I think that also helps shine a light on athletes that maybe you wouldn't see. And you do want to watch them. And I think that that's where the men's audience will continue to grow once an interest is spiked, even if it begins off the court. Kind of like Olivia Dunn, she had I don't know how many people knew her as an actual gymnast at LSU, obviously signed one of the biggest NIL deals. And then you saw her everywhere, and she's beautiful, whatever. But how many guys were actually paying attention to women's gymnastics until her face popped up? It is a big business, and it will continue to grow.
I remember watching all these TikToks on Olivia Dunn, and all these boys were waiting outside of her meets. And it was like, wait, whoever even knew about this sport prior to that?
If the right light is shined and the right, characters and athletes are, highlighted, coaches, owners, and the stories are, more prominent, it'll grab attention. But I just really liked Michelle Wie's perspective on it.
Yeah.
And to
100%.
that, Battle of the Sexes, speaking of in sports, we're going to take this to a tennis court, but the original Battle of the Sexes was in 1973, Billie Jean King versus Bobby Riggs. There were no handicaps. She played him straight up and beat him, proving that women's tennis at the time had evolved far beyond what critics claimed. Okay, well, now it's 2025. We're still having the same conversation. On the topic this week, a big one is that world number one, Sabalenka, and Nick Kyrgios, who was ranked as high as 13, and now he's dramatically fallen in rankings. He's down in the 600s, but very talented. Both big personalities are set to play a match in Dubai in December, and they're labeling it Battle of the Sexes. Okay, but to level the playing field, they're going to be serving adjustments. Maybe he'll only get one served. Maybe the court side's going to be adjusted to only hit to smaller areas of the court. If the entire point of this is to prove that women are equal and compete with men, why are you handicapping the entire message? Play straight up. I get the competitive balance to make it fun for viewers, make it a fun competition, but to me, it's completely opposite of what the message is trying to be. I love Sabalenka. I think she's incredibly talented. She's incredibly strong. You know, her face is everywhere, marketing, positioning, branding off the court. She doesn't need to be handicapped to get out there and show that. She's trash talking. He's trash talking. They obviously have good relationship off the court and both respect each other. So it will be good banter. It'll be fun. But for me, if I'm watching a tennis match, doubles, singles, mixed doubles, women's tennis, men's versus women, I don't want to see a different rendition of the sport and a change of rules just for the media's sake when the whole thing is Battle of the Sexes. Like back to Billie Jean King. I mean, she went out there and she straight up showed that she can compete. And if you need to bring down the level on the guy's side or whatever it is, then set that up. But I don't like handicapping to make it an equal playing field when the whole premise is you can play against each other. It's good for media. It's good for Kyrgios. He's going to get some airtime. Both great personalities, like I said. They're going to have fun with it. It's going to be fun. The whole idea behind it is obviously money. It's going to be in Dubai. They'll put on a show. They'll play straight up. I hope she beats him. If she does beat him, it's going to be easy to say, oh, well, it's handicap. Like, I just would take all of that off the table and have them play straight up, make it equal, and just have fun. Win or lose. It's just fun competition and just show that you can straight up play.
Yeah. I mean, don't take pity for the woman at the end of the day. If it's a battle of the sexes, make it equal.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see about that. Okay, shifting. Congrats to the Los Angeles Dodgers. What a series. What a game 7.
Hell of a series.
Unbelievable. Back-to-back first repeat World Series winners in 25 seasons. Good for them. Good for LA. Incredible roster. Ohtani, Yamamoto, Sasaki really coming through. Dodgers spent over
those Japanese guys. Goddamn.
They've got it done. They were not going to mess that up. If somebody was asking me to bet, I would have bet Dodgers all day long on that game 7. They were so locked in. They were not going to mess it up.
No,
I loved seeing Yamamoto
in the craft.
Yes, and taking notes in the dugout during the games. I mean, they've spent over $1 billion for the three of them on their roster, and now they're the first trio of Japanese players to ever be on a World Series winning roster in MLB history. Paid off.
I think it's very,
and it
very
will
respectable.
Very. There were a lot of other, positive stories and things. Obviously, it's a team effort, but 3 of them were obviously prime. And the first time in MLB history, the season opened and ended outside of the U.S. Kind of a fun fact. Opened the season in Tokyo, ended in Toronto. Gotta be rare. This is kind of funny. Yeah, full circle. I saw a little clip that Ohtani's walk-up song is Michael Bublé's rendition of Feeling Good. It's kind of a strong intro. And yeah, a kind of really funny song for a walk-up song. In an interview that Bublé was doing, he said that the Dodgers coach introduced him to Ohtani and he asked him why he chose his song as his walk-up song. And he said, my wife chose it.
And I was like, that's sweet, but I don't think I'd get fired up over that, to be honest with you. Isn't a walk-up song supposed to be like, let's get going?
Yeah, your motivation to get up and hit the ball. Well, obviously he's doing something right. He can have whatever song he wants. But I thought the same exact thing. I thought it was super sweet, and I thought it was so on par for Ohtani to just be, so sweet and say, my wife picked it.
Oh, again, those Japanese, they're just so sweet. So
I love him.
I think they work their ass off, and I think they deserve what they want at the end of the day.
Yes, and they earned it. I think he's so cute, and you probably saw the clips of him blinking his eyes. His face is the exact same every time he gets up to go to bat. Like, I just would love to know what he's thinking in his head. They're so methodical. It's incredible.
No, these athletes, even just moving from game to game, compartmentalizing the last game and just every mistake that happened and being able to move on is what differentiates you from being good and great. All of those men are all commendable for it.
Totally. And to go into Toronto and win, not at their home stadium. And honestly, Toronto seems like the most boring crowd ever. If I was going to win a World Series, I would not want to do it in front of that crowd, even if you're not playing at your home stadium. Just imagine if that had been in LA. But even if it was like Dodgers-Yankees, and they were playing in New York. The atmosphere would have been more electric than what it was in Toronto, from what I saw from afar.
No, I know. And I think Canadians in general, again, I work for a lot of Canadians, they're very level-headed. They don't show a lot of emotion, even though I know they're hurting, talking to a lot of them afterwards. But so, yes, there was probably not a lot of emotion coming out of them, but I can tell you they thought about it afterwards, and it really...
A little sting.
They're taking it to heart, yes.
Yeah. And then they returned, obviously, to LA. It looked like a great parade. Ice Cube delivered the trophy to Dodger Stadium in his old blue, convertible classic. Then ending of Clayton Kershaw's career, 3 times World Series champion. Great way to go out for your career.
The Dodgers have won 2 in a row, and they're looking to win 3 next year. That would be probably the first time ever. I think the Japanese really add a lot of value to this, and I think their $1 billion contract was well spent.
I don't think anyone's batting their eyes at that. Very well spent. Unbelievable. The viewers for the World Series topped NBA's finals by millions. 25.9 million viewers for the World Series Game 7, 16.4 million for Game 7 of the NBA Finals. That's staggering.
They need Michelle to come rewrite their narrative because they're tanking.
Yeah, exactly.
They're tanking.
She needs to come work on that too. I mean, that is a massive difference. Obviously, there were also so many international viewers given, Canada and Japan and their stake of wanting to see it, but added to those numbers. And one of those viewers adding was Meghan Markle, who completely staged her clip celebrating the Dodgers win in their home. Harry looked less than amused.
She is so embarrassing. It was painful to watch. They were in like their movie theater or something. And yeah, she was jumping around. I don't even know who she was with, but it
looks like Harry and one other person.
Yeah, secondhand embarrassment.
And the fact that exactly. It's not like she was in a crowded sports bar and somebody caught a glimpse of her naturally, organically celebrating. Nope. She was literally a party of 3, her, Harry, and maybe one other at their home. And they whip out their camera and then it gets posted to show that she's a fan. I mean, you cannot get any worse than her. And I know she was getting absolutely roasted for it. But I mean,
did you see that article of her that came out this week or something on Daily Mail? Again, I get my news from Daily Mail, so it's always correct.
One and only source.
It's always correct, but yeah. And I didn't go, again, I don't clickbait any of her material because I don't want to feed into any more fame that she's trying to draw up. But the headline was, Meghan Markle claims she wants to be a billionaire. And I was like, oh God, I can only imagine what that has to say. But again, I think she's just trying to be relevant and creating this, World Series is the top clickbait right now. I'm going to make sure I'm involved in that one, showing up to the Dodgers games with her little Dodgers hat and all that. It's exhausting. Come on, girlfriend. You gotta get out. Nobody likes you.
And she had an opportunity to just be in the light that she had and the stage that she was on, and she could have run with it
to even get
beyond blessed. Yeah. Exactly. And again, there are
Harry's
positive things about her. Yeah. There are positive things about her, but she just cannot get it together. The last thing we can note about her, but I saw that, don't know the criteria, the voting, the source, but that she was named the most annoying celebrity of 2025.
Wow.
Congrats, Meghan. You did it.
I would have clicked on that one.
I know. I'll have to go back and find it.
I would love it.
Back to the Breeders' Cup, another big day for the Japanese. A Japanese win by horse Forever Young. First Japanese-born and trained horse to win the Breeders' Cup. Pretty amazing. The jockey, the owner, and the trainer are all Japanese. So another big win in Cali for the Japanese. I love it.
No, I definitely lost my bet from my prediction last week. I just had a friend that came back from Japan, and she's like, have you tried their pizza and fried chicken from there? And I was like, well, no, I've never been, but I would assume they specialize in sushi. And she said, no, they just master every craft that they put their minds to. So horse racing, baseball, they're killing it on all ends. So good for them.
All of it. And in their mountains and their snow. I mean, it's supposed to be some of the best skiing of anywhere in the world. Have to try to make it over there. And speaking of snow, Jannick Sinner is now back to #1 in the world, and he's also Gucci's new ski guy. He was named Gucci brand ambassador in 2022, and then October of this year, he became the face of Gucci's Altitude collection, which is the brand's first winter sports collection. He's a top athlete. Now he's a style icon, young, reaches different demographic. For Sinner, it elevates his off-court brand. For Gucci, it brings in new a new demographic. And
I was going to say,
I thought it was a
skiing
great
wasn't
ad.
there. Yeah, no, he looked good and everything. I'm going to have to switch up my Cordova to Gucci, which I didn't know even, was a ski thing. Are you a big skier? Do you like skiing?
Love skiing. I'm a gentle skier. I don't like to feel like I'm going to get hurt. Like
Yeah.
greens and blues, nice weather. I don't like to go out there with bad visibility or feel like I'm going to get hurt, but I love it. But I'm also just fine with a little opera or sitting by the fire with a glass of wine and everyone can ski, and I will be right there waiting when everyone's back.
Yeah, after multiple knee surgeries, I'd prefer opera.
Yes. I also saw Hermes had these skis. They came out like $30,000 skis, and it was like, would you pay $30,000 for a pair of Hermes skis? And
we were all tossing that around in our group chat. I think it was.
I said it with Casey too. Yeah,
yeah. Casey had sent it to us, I think, and he was like, "Oh yeah, who's gonna buy these?" And I'm like, I'm not a good enough skier. I'd look like an absolute poser.
They look great, but yeah, I mean, there's also a fine line of, are you really a skier or are you just someone that wants to flaunt your money?
Yeah, you're just an Aspen.
You're just an Aspen. Taylor Swift reportedly upped her security by $2 million as she stays out of the spotlight at Travis's games. She spends approximately $8 million a year on security, has had multiple stalker threats, now 24/7 monitoring of her schedule. I think after the Charlie Kirk incident, that was when, she was at that Chiefs game and she had that black barrier, which I guess was a bulletproof wall or shield, and just wanted to have tighter control and monitoring at public venues like stadiums, which is kind of sad to think about that it's come to that, but it's probably true. She's going to figure that you do have to take that into account. It is kind of nice to get her out of the spotlight, probably even for her own sake, and not having so much attention to her at these. I don't think she's been going to away games. I think she's only been going to his home games.
I was going to say, I think she's just kind of been out of the spotlight. I heard that she was like kind of taking a backseat in the suite. So nobody really had like full visuals on her being up front and center, like next to the parents and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I heard she didn't go to that Bills game last just because I think the Bills Mafia can be a little bit intense possibly. But
yeah, I think she didn't have the warmest, or her team didn't have the warmest welcome last time. If you're not in somewhere where they know your program and they know your team and your entourage that's coming with you and all the security measures and all of that, I can see it probably being hard for other stadiums to handle when they have so much, going on anyway for these games.
100% agree. And I know we just had Halloween, belated Halloween, but did you see Travis Kelce's ex? I think her name was like Kayla Nicole or something, but did you see her costume?
I didn't.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. Well, apparently I don't even know who Toni Braxton is, but dressed up as Toni Braxton, singer that song He Wasn't Man Enough, lip sync it on Instagram, and it was the most embarrassing thing ever because obviously it was a dig at Kelce and Swift. And I just thought it was really embarrassing. 4 years ago, they broke up. It's just really embarrassing. And you have to hear Barstool talk about it because they really dig in onto it. It's like, come on, girl. You got to.
Well, and that's exactly what she's looking for. But yeah, time to move on. The New York Marathon set world records this weekend, 59,226 finishers. Unbelievable. It looks like such an event. I've never so many runners, and the pictures and the drone photos are just amazing. And it seems like such a deal for the whole city along the route, everyone cheering. And I saw Spike Lee sitting up on a ladder, of course, in his usual attire, cheering. It seems like it would be so fun. I'm not a marathon runner, but it would be fun to experience. I saw one guy took 12 hours to finish.
Hey, God,
but good
God
for him.
Him.
He did it.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, that's more than probably the most of American can say that they've done before. But I think marathon running has become more relevant because all of these TikTokers are starting to run marathons and like filming themselves like mile 1. Mile 2.
I've been
mile
seeing
3.
that. Like people that you would never think, and they're like, I'm on here talking about running. Never thought I'd be talking, but I want to run.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Brooke Monk, I thought she was an AI bot. She's got like 50 million followers or something on TikTok. Again, I'm way too invested in this TikTok thing, but she was running the marathon and I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know you walked outside of your room that you were filming your videos in. So I think that's bringing a lot more attention is all these influencers that are, starting to run and get excited about it. So it's definitely motivating me. I'm a runner, but I'm more of like a sprinter / I could get 6 miles done. I don't know if I could do the
Yeah,
the
I love to
full
run, but I don't
marathon.
know if yeah,
So
and these Ironman and all these things, they're not for me.
ugh,
You can
it's a
casually run
bit
and not have to
intense.
get a Ironman tattooed on your leg or go do a
No.
marathon. But I promote anyone that wants to get out and take the steps. Like we said, Ticket to Run,
Yeah. No, Ticket
right?
to Run. So there we go.
Love it. And then Charles Leclerc got engaged to
Mm.
Alexandra St. Malou, which I think is a fabulous name. And then
She is so poised. And, they were just here in Austin and I was at the proper hotel and I never fangirl over anybody. I'm be cool Brogan. That's how I live my life by. But him and her walked by and little Leo Leclerc.
Leo.
And it was really hard for me to stay in my chair. I'm so
They're
happy for
another
them.
couple that you see so much of, so much camera time, so much media, so many photos. I mean, even when they were here in Austin. And it's so cute that he used the dog, Leo, as part of the engagement. I thought that was so sweet. He wrote a little card saying, will you marry dad or something like that.
It was engraved on the collar. Yeah.
Aw, well, maybe Adam will do something like that for you.
We'll see. I won't be holding my breath.
Oh, we'll see what he comes up with. In general, has recently come under pressure for the amount of airtime that the world feed focuses on drivers, partners, and celebrities in the paddock during the race rather than action on the track. I know at COTA this year, they tried to keep that at a minimum to keep the focus and emphasis really on the race and on the drivers and on the teams. And in Singapore this year, Carlos Sainz pointed out how heavily the media covers spouses and partners and how there's action on the track that's missed since everything does happen so quickly. And they kept cutting to celebrities and girlfriends, and many fans and media outlets actually echoed that statement. So it's funny that the drivers are even having that, sentiment. But I also get that people are interested in that. They want to see who's there. They want to see it's just like football games, showing who's in the suites or who's
Taylor
courtside at
Swift.
basketball game. Exactly. People watch just for that.
I mean, hot girls sell, and goddamn, I don't know where they're finding these girls, but these are the most stunning girls in the world. So good for them.
I know, like Kelly Piquet and Max. Like, I mean, it's a good
lineup.
Yeah. And they're all pretty classy, but it is, I get
Very
that
classy.
perspective too. Golf world, Bryson DeChambeau is helping Google turn its AI assistant into a golf coach. Super interesting. Probably going to happen more and more in every sport. Obviously, AI is prominent and used in research and development for clubs, gear, booking tee times, but the untapped area is coaching. DeChambeau hopes that is changing, and he's the main brain behind it as far as golfer. In a last week in an interview, he said that he's working with Google on a way to get the Gemini AI system specifically for coaching purposes to give instant insight on swings without expensive coaching. And he says the AI can provide insights better than any professional coach out there and at a much faster rate, which
I don't love that. I feel like golf has always been super classy. You're at a country club. You don't want to be on your phone. It's like kind of, looked down upon when you're sitting there just on your phone or taking pictures and things like that. So I feel like if you're going to start implementing this AI, like coach, you're going to have to prop your phone up. You're going to have your selfie stick behind you and you're going to be constantly recording yourself. And I feel like that's always been like a no-no at golf courses. It's going to be interesting how the older generation will possibly kind of look at that and take that in. But for me personally, I think it's a little weird. I don't know. It just doesn't fit that culture
for golf. Right. I agree with that. But on the flip side, golf has always been seen as more of a luxury, expensive sport. So by having this, I feel like maybe it will give more accessibility to people that can't pay $150 an hour for a coach or $75 an hour for a coach.
Watch a YouTube video.
Yeah, there's that too. But I also think golf is such a technical sport and so many things technique-wise that AI can generate things so much quicker and so much faster and so much more precise than a coach can, that if that is your style of learning, I think that it'll be amazing to see. Because they have all these track machines and things now, but that's not really for, your technical. That's more of just like distance and all of that. So
I don't know. It takes away the whole culture of golf, but if there's a will, there's a way. If you want to watch YouTube videos, slow them down. If you really want to get into the technicalities of it, and if there's anybody can learn how to play any sport, you just got to devote yourself to it.
Yes, and have some talent, natural talent. It's a big part of all.
That's a huge part.
You can't buy that.
No.
No, you cannot. The NBA, Dodgers co-owner Mark Walter bought a majority stake in the Lakers for $10 billion from Jerry Buss Family Trust Ownership Group, ending their controlling interest, which began in 1979. So Walter's not new to the Lakers. He became a minority owner in 2021, which got him in the door, which was obviously very smart to do.
If he does what he did with the Dodgers, I think they're in great hands. And I don't think the Buss family would sell to anybody. So I think this is actually a value add.
Totally. And the price or implied valuation for the franchise around $10 billion would make this the largest sale ever of a professional sports team in the U.S. That is a lot of money, and that's not even for the full team. The Buss family will keep 15%, which allows the longtime team governance to continue, which Jeannie Buss oversees, and will continue to do so. I'm sure that was obviously not something that they were willing to budge on. Another way to buy a bigger stake and let her do what she's absolutely crushing in. Jeannie Buss has a really interesting story. It goes back to another woman in sports that's built herself around sports and, yes, had prime positioning, yes, had family involved, given her father and family, but she worked hard to maintain relevance, and she could have taken this and just been put in a position or stayed on the sidelines, but she really immersed herself, which I love. Obviously,
she's
her
not
father...
a dumbass.
No, I really like her. Her father, Jerry, obviously built a sports and real estate empire, and from a very young age, she would accompany him to meetings. She attended USC, fellow Trojan.
Fight on.
Earned her business degree there, and while she was in school, at 19, she was appointed to be general manager of the Los Angeles Strings, which is the tennis team that her father owned while in school. Again, helped that he owned the team, but she didn't have to get involved. Strings folded. Then she acquired an ice hockey team, the Los Angeles Blades, and then that year was named Executive of the Year in that league. Again, you can't just be given that. It's not just for, her team. Then she joined the Lakers business operations in the 90s, 2000s, held multiple executive roles. 2020, she became the first female controlling owner to lead her team to an NBA championship. Impressive. And also something that you really didn't hear much of, or at least maybe I wasn't paying attention at the time. But
you were paying
that
attention.
Is a great okay, well, great story. I've not always been a big Lakers person, but I respect the story and the brand and all of that, minus LeBron.
I was going to say, I hope we get LeBron out of there now. That
Exactly. But she's widely recognized as one of the most powerful women in sports business. I love that. She stayed relevant, stayed current, worked herself up.
She's a respectable human.
The Spurs, their best start in franchise history, 5-0. Then they lost to the Suns, and it sounds like it was just approved by Bexar County for them to get a new stadium. Their current lease is up, so they're going to build a stadium downtown, which will be amazing and much needed. They have a massive fan base. And now given how, close Austin is, San Antonio, everything's built up in between, New Braunfels, Buda, Kyle, they get fans from all over. So that's a great thing for them and the organization.
I talk to people all the time, and just moving to Austin, everybody's like, have you visited San Antonio? And I was like, no, do I need to? And everybody's been saying it's the best town in Texas. So that would be interesting. Maybe I'd have some motivation to get down there.
It's actually great. Historically, you only heard of the Riverwalk.
Yeah.
And nobody goes to Riverwalk.
What else do they have to offer?
They've tried to revamp it. I went to school down there, and I absolutely loved my experience there. So different than Austin, but there are some beautiful neighborhoods, great spots, great food. Obviously, having Spurs there was fun.
How are the people?
Then the people are great. A lot of Mexican influence, which is also kind of fun. And then
they like to party.
They like to party, and that was, a lot of international flair. We used to go to clubs, and there were a couple clubs that everyone would go to. It would be like going to Mexico and going out. Again, different experience in general going to school there than the big Southern school like all my friends did. But they also didn't get this cultural side. And then it got so bad. This is when the height of a lot of the cartel stuff. We wouldn't go depending on if it was safe or not. It was just a different way of going out and...
Really?
Yeah. But it was so fun. People would get all dressed up, nothing like going to clubs in Austin. And I don't think it's like that anymore, but it was super fun. But anyways, the Pearl District is an area that was redone, and that's where Hotel Emma is, and some great
Did that just get awarded
yes, it gets got a Michelin key. Mm-hmm.
Yep, 2 hotel keys, I heard.
Yes, yeah. So it's definitely worth checking out. But the Spurs are a very big anchor for San Antonio and downtown. So that'll be
That's
great.
awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
I love the Suns, but that's awesome.
Yeah. And then Oklahoma City has an amazing start to the season, 8-0, their best start ever in franchise history. Now it's time for the best part of basketball, college
Our
basketball.
most invested. Yeah, I love it.
Yes, finally here. Really prefer watching it over the NBA. So glad it started. I watched Texas and Duke last night. Decent game. Okay, I saw the funniest things. I guess it's not even a meme of the week because it's not even a meme. It's real, but it is so good. So Cooper Flagg appeared in an ad for an online banking company called Chime, and he reenacted Michael Jordan's iconic Wings poster where he has his arms like stretched completely out, showing his wingspan, and he has his basketball in his right hand, like so prominent for the Jordan and Jordan brand. So Cooper had his wingspan and was holding a credit card in his right hand. And Jordan did not like it, and their response to it was insufficient funds. They had the images
That's
on
a
top of
badass
each
response.
other.
That's a badass
Oh my gosh,
response.
it was so great. Insufficient funds. I thought it was so clever.
How is that even comparable? I mean, like
It's not.
You got to have some balls to do that.
You're just starting your NBA career. You are nowhere even close to being as elite as Jordan.
Sit down.
Prove yourself. And yeah, some random Chime company with a credit card is not Michael Jordan palming a basketball.
Things are. Yeah.
Exactly. So in the AP rankings, Purdue's at the top, followed by Houston, doing well, and then followed by Florida and UConn. I'd love to see how many schools that don't have prominent football teams. Exactly. Like St. John's, San Diego State, or even, smaller football teams like, Creighton or UConn.
Creighton, I love Creighton due to basketball. I didn't even know what Creighton was. I mean, I love Nebraska, but like it's always Nebraska for every sport, women's volleyball and football, obviously. And Creighton's got some badass basketball as well.
Yeah, and I love that they do have such strong basketball teams and that they put so much emphasis in their athletic departments towards basketball. I mean, football gets so much light and overshadows basketball. I don't care what school you are or how big you are, that football always comes first. So it's nice that some of these schools focus on basketball with or without football.
For UConn, women's basketball, the sport that I need to watch more of. I used to watch it a lot when everybody I played like club with and everything grew up and they all went to actually UConn. So that was fun to watch them at that era. So I need to circle back with them and see how they're doing now.
Yeah, and their men's team always so strong. They won last year. So looking
Connecticut
forward to college football. So as we talked about last week, we were questioning how this LSU athletic director still had his job. Well, he doesn't. Right after we said that, he got fired the next day. Exactly, because it made absolutely no sense. You cannot have two of the biggest buyouts in history under your monitoring. And then
I need to be this guy's friend. I need to, biggest job ever to be a fired coach, and he seems to be great at it. So, hey, hire me, Scott.
He lets that slide into the contract. So I guess the governor will be in charge of hiring the new coach, which is also funny because that is still forefront of a lot of conversations and the interplay and workings of politics, athletic administration, donor relations, and performance at these big schools. I think it's going to be a lot of increased scrutiny of how that all works together and what comes into play, because obviously the governor did have input and will. And I mean, it's crazy.
Everything's political.
Everything is political. Shout out to Jeff Sakin, one of our favorite followers, big OU and Texas fan. Jeff, can you tell us about your OU kickers pants? Did you see those? Oh my gosh, he was getting roasted. People were saying, should this be but I don't know what it was. Something a penalty for dressing like this in your Daisy Dukes. Like I thought it was actually a joke at first, like a Photoshop or AI something, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
no,
this
he
is
did
real.
That. Yeah,
I didn't know they could. Yeah.
He's got to perfect the kick. He's got the knee. He's got to get the knee going. So good for him.
You got to have that
confidence is key.
Miami was upset by SMU at SMU. That was the first game for Miami outside of Florida this season, which is kind of crazy. I know SMU was very happy about that. I thought Miami was going to win, but that was a good game. Obviously, Texas. Vanderbilt.
Ooh.
Crazy. I thought it was going to be a much closer game, and it really wasn't close until the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Vandy Candy took the L. Thank goodness, because I hate
Oh,
them. But
sorry, Diego. And I saw that Diego's or a clip. You mean I don't know how do people post these things and get everywhere? But his brother was in the stands causing a ruckus, of course. And I'm like, great, this is like Patrick Mahomes and his brother and whatever. Like they just don't.
cringe.
Yeah, exactly. But that shook up the rankings a bit. And if today the rankings were set, Texas and OU would be out of the playoffs. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. I actually went to the game. I've gone to very few games compared to what I did in the past, and had gone down to the field for went down on the field for a little bit in the fourth quarter. There was like 4 minutes left in the game, so it was like, okay, gonna go soon. And I was getting on the elevator, and Chris Del Conte, the athletic director, was getting out. He was like, how are you? Blah, blah, so excited. Seemed so great to like go down and celebrate the win. And then I got up and I saw this score. I was like, oh my gosh, like how this is this close at this time. Like, yeah, we met exactly. And then some of the other coaches were commenting how they were up, in the suite with him. And he was so excited to go down and celebrate. And then by the time he got back to the field, he was like pacing around. You could see him on the sidelines. And I'm like, this is going to be kind of funny if they end up losing this game. They really, really cut it close at the end.
No, it was. We were actually flying home from California, and Adam bought some sling or swing, I don't know, to try to watch the game, and it kept cutting out, and he was yelling at the iPad, and I was like, calm down. Like, it was a good game though. I'm glad that Texas ended up winning. It was a good top 10 win for them for sure.
Definitely. Ohio State still undefeated at 1, Indiana at 2, Aggies at 3, Texas now 13, OU somehow still ahead at 11. Some great games coming up. ESPN announced that College Game Day will be back in Lubbock at Texas Tech for the first time in 17 years this weekend against BYU. Good to have light back on the Big 12. Good visibility for both programs. I feel like Texas Tech has kind of bounced back. And BYU is another program that, does decently well.
Yeah, those Mormons, they're good at everything too. I will say that. So
except drinking.
No, you also skipped over USC and Nebraska.
That's coming up next. USC versus Nebraska, 21-17 for you and your Trojans.
To be honest with you, I wanted Nebraska to do well. I was having mixed feelings about it, but I'm always a fight on fan. So I'm glad they pulled it off with the win, but it would have been a good win for Nebraska as well. So,
good game,
good performance for each.
Yeah, that's great. Good for USC. Next to the NFL, and Cardi B spotted sitting in Robert Kraft's box. God. Obviously, cameras kept panning to her.
Painful.
Dressed head to toe in Bottega, signature weave, kind of maroon, in season, $50,000 alligator Birkin. It was actually the first Patriots game for Diggs that she attended, which I kind of thought was interesting. Obviously, she's pregnant and I don't, know anything about her schedule, but funny to see her sitting there with Robert Kraft.
Robert Kraft of all people. Yeah, that was a bold move to let her in there.
But I think they actually have a decent relationship. I think it was the Super Bowl. I think it was in Atlanta. And there was clips of them dancing. Robert Kraft always has his Air Force Ones on. Always love it. Dapper guy. And he was dancing with Cardi B. So I think they go back for a little bit.
Wow, he must have been really happy to reconnect with her. What's the rumor that he's gotten not just her pregnant, he's gotten like 4 girls pregnant recently or something?
Saw that, and I don't know. Again, who knows? But
I'm starting the rumor mill.
Start it up. Yeah, you heard it here first. 2 girls, 1 ticket.
But rumors can't be that far fetched, so there's got to be some validity to it.
No, first I saw it was like twins with somebody else, and then I saw that it was 4, so it could be twins plus Cardi plus 1 more. That I'm sure that'll all come out. Somebody will be looking. Yes, somebody will. No, that'd be 4. I'm sure that'll all come out. But he did announce after that game that they are expecting a baby boy. So that's good for them.
What do you think they're going to name him?
I don't know. That's a good question.
No. Well,
Cardi
I'll be
and
at Stephon
Diggs. We'll see.
What was that also
She's
video?
A character, I've got to say.
They're both goddamn characters. Did you see that viral video of, the teammates that go around and say, like, who do you not want your daughter to date? And everybody on the team said Diggs, 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 Diggs. And then eventually they got to Diggs and he was like, what? Like, why me? Wild. So we'll see how that one ends up.
Yeah, well, good for them. Babies are great no matter what.
That is true.
And a new NFL record field goal by Cam Little, 68-yard field goal. Kickers are just so important. I know we've said that before.
They are
And
clutch.
more than ever, I feel like teams are just scoring solely from kicking. I mean, some obviously you prefer to have touchdowns and field goals, but
they're so
in the
irrelevant throughout the
distance.
entire game. Yeah, they're so irrelevant throughout the entire game until when it actually matters, and then they're like, "Oh shit, is this kicker good or not?" And they've got so much pressure on them. It's either, sink or swim. Right now it's like 50-50s. A lot of kickers are letting teams down, but a lot of kickers are being the hero at the end of the day.
It's just showing that how important they really are. I mean, I know it's easy to say like that's your one job, but it is literally their one job to get the extra point and to, make these field goals when they can. But the distance that they're kicking from, it's almost like when you get inside 60 yards, it's almost like, okay, yeah, for sure they're going to get this point. It's in like, why even kick it? But there are still some misses, to your point. There are plenty of misses.
Whoa, who put him on the field?
Yeah, exactly. Again, your one job. But
yeah.
Sam Darnold, your boy, 4 touchdowns and had yet to throw an incompletion at half against the Commanders. Amazing performance by him.
I mean, great performance, amazing performance. 17 for 17, 292 yards, 4 touchdown passes, all in the first half. That is basically the best QB performance of a half ever in the history of football.
Impressive.
I'm going to say it again. I'm not biased. I love him to death. I'm so proud of him. I mean, let's make him the next MVP.
Let's do it. No, that's just, incredible. Hopefully he brings that to some games coming up.
And he's so I just love him. His after game interview was he's just so poised, polite, considerate to everybody. He's a team player. I love him.
I love that. Bengals, first team to score 38 plus points in back-to-back games and lose since the 1966 Giants. I mean, those are the kind of records you don't want to be setting.
No.
I mean, heartbreak for those Bengal fans. Like, what in the world?
Not at all. Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, and then another upset, Vikings beating the Lions at Detroit. I literally didn't even check the score, didn't even check in because I was so sure that the Lions were going to win. I mean, that shocked me. So then I started checking the score and keeping up as the game went on, and I still couldn't believe it. That really surprised me. I have some neighbors that I absolutely adore, and the husband is a diehard Vikings fan, and the wife is randomly a massive Lions fan, and they have 2
Quite the
sweet
dynamic.
little kids. I know, and they have the sweetest little kids. Husband always flies his Viking flags. The daughter, she's 4, and she wears her Vikings cheerleader outfit, I think, pretty much every day to school. She's so sweet. Anyway, so after the game was over, they flew a Vikings flag on my gate. And Palmer, their daughter, was sitting in front of the gate, doing their, a skull cheer. It was so cute. They sent me a video, and then, of course, I went out and saw the flag. But so funny. But that was another unfortunate upset. The Panthers took down Green Bay 16-13. Close game. Another upset. And Steelers beat the Colts. Another upset there, 27-20.
I mean, it's everybody's game these days. Come on.
Sure is.
Yeah, didn't the Steelers turn over Daniel Jones? He'd been playing great, but he had a tough game.
I know. He's been doing so good. I was so glad to see him kind of bounce back after, being let go by the Giants. But yeah, tough game. He'll be back. And then the Bills beat the Chiefs. Go Bills. I would actually love to see that. I don't know how people are not losing more faith in the Chiefs, but I don't know about that. But go Bills.
Bills Mafia. It's intense.
It is surely intense. And then an embarrassing Monday night game for the Cowboys. So what are they doing? Stephen Smith was sitting with Jerry Jones briefly in his box, and the funniest time, you couldn't have timed it better to show Stephen Smith. He looked less than amused. Cowboys fumbled and shows him leaving early and kind of just turns to Jerry and shakes his hand and walks off. It was so funny. I have no idea what they're doing. And then I also saw a clip. Jerry was on the field with his wife before the game, and obviously there's a lot going on, whatever. And you gotta love Jerry for what he is. But the national anthem starts, and his wife is tapping him to put his hand on his heart, and everyone's
it wasn't about
Jerry,
him. It wasn't
are you
about
there?
Him at that time.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, we were focused on the national anthem.
Jerry, where are
watching
you?
Me. Yeah.
All right. So we've got another week coming up. Let's hear your weekly picks. Raiders versus Broncos.
I'm going to go Broncos by a landslide. The Raiders are in shambles right now.
Or Raiders. Falcons versus Colts.
I'm going to go Colts. I'm hoping for a bounce back.
We've got to see our girl on the sideline with her headset on. She probably had some notes after last week.
Oh, she did. She's like, if you want to win, you got to be invested and you got to be down there and actually know what's going on. So good for her.
Yeah, exactly. So Browns versus Jets.
So it's a battle of nothing. They're two of the worst teams in the league. Also, the Jets, didn't they just trade away a couple of good players right now? I think they're really
one of them to
gearing
the
up for next year
in an unbelievable trade. Yeah.
They're clearly giving up this year, and they're looking for first round picks next year. So I'm going to go Browns.
Well, they got their first round pick. Saints versus Panthers.
Okay. I'm going to go Panthers. The Saints don't know who their QB is, and Panthers have been playing decent, but Saints just traded away their second best receiver to the Seahawks, so go Sam. I'm excited for him. He'll be thrown to him.
All right. Patriots versus Bucks.
Bucks are coming off of a bye week, so it's tough. It's going to be a good game, but I'm going to go Bucks.
Ravens Vikings.
Lamar Jackson's back at it, so Ravens.
Yes. I think he'll perform really well this weekend. Bills Dolphins.
I mean, Bills by whatever they want.
It's in their hands now. I mean, Mike McDaniel, how is he standing or still remaining? And they say he's going to stay as coach through the end of the season, but they are really
shit in the bed.
Yeah. Giants Bears.
Should be a good game. Again, Scott's hurt, but I'm still going to go Giants just for fun.
I hope Scott's healing. But yes, go Giants. I saw Eli and Charlie, his son, showing up for the Giants game last weekend, and Charlie had his little dart jersey on. So cute. Aww. I wonder if he got to wear the chain.
I'm sure he had
probably
to take
lost
that
chain day after. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Jaguars versus Texans. Yeah, exactly. Jaguars, Texans.
Two great defenses. I'm going to go Texans, though.
Yes. Cardinals, Seahawks. We know that one.
You know where my loyalty lies. Division rivalry, but obviously I'm going to take Seahawks.
Yes. Lions, Commanders.
I mean, the Seahawks absolutely destroyed the Commanders last week, so I'm going to go Lions.
Lions need a win after the Vikings. They're going to come out angry.
Yeah, I mean, no, 100%.
They lose this, it's trouble. Yeah. Rams versus 49ers.
That's going to be a really good game. I think I'm going to go Rams, though.
Like it. Steelers, Chargers.
Again, another good game. I know their Chargers left tackle is out for the season, and that's a big loss for them. So I'm going to go Steelers here.
I like the Steelers, too. Eagles, Packers.
Again, there's a lot of good games right now, but I'm going to go Eagles for this one.
I hope it's a close, good game, but fly, Eagles, fly.
Yeah, no.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Yes. Well, we'll wrap it up and see how we do next week. Thank you, everyone, for listening and being here. Follow, like, subscribe. 2 Girls, 1 Ticket. Brogan, any closing statements?
Nope. Just I'm progressing at my podcasting career. So it's we'll see how this one goes.
We'll rack them up. Well, it's 4:00, almost 5 o'clock somewhere. Time for a cocktail. Beautiful weather. Get outside and enjoy if you haven't gone for your run yet.
No, I already went this morning, so we're good to go. So I'm ready for a cocktail myself.
Yes,
so.
It's that time. Happy hour. All right, everyone. Thanks for being here, and we will talk to you. We'll be here next week.
Ciao.
Bye.